Okay, a few people have asked me about the paper pet, so let me run through that real quick with you. We're looking at traits of the pets. First trait we're looking at is eyes. So for the eyes, it can either be big R, which is homozygous dominant, or big R, little r, which is heterozygous, but it also has that dominant allele, so it's going to show that dominant trait of the square eyes. And then homozygous recessive, little r would be the recessive phenotype of round eyes. Okay. Then we have the nose. The nose can be homozygous dominant or heterozygous, both of which will show the dominant triangle nose. Or it could be little n, which is homozygous recessive and would have the recessive oval-shaped nose. Okay. And then we're looking at teeth. You may get a big T and a big T from both parents and be homozygous dominant, or you may get a big T from one and a little T from the other and be heterozygous, still showing the dominant trait because that dominant allele is there. Or you may get a little T from both parents and be homozygous recessive and show the recessive rectangle teeth. Next we have hair. Hair's a little bit different in this case. It's what we call codominant. Co meaning together, so dominant together. If you have the homozygous dominant big H, well, you're going to see that dominant, that big H trait, which is the single straight up hair. Okay. If you're homozygous recessive, little h, then you're going to see that little h, I shouldn't be saying dominant recessive because they're codominant, but if you have the two little h's indicative of the two hair V shape, then you would have that two hair V shape phenotype for hair. Okay, if you have the big H and the little h together, if you have the single hair trait and the double hair trait together, well, they're both going to show up together. They are codominant. So you would get that two hair V and that single hair up and down. So you would have the big H trait as well as the little h trait. Those are codominant. Okay, these are the parents that we're looking at in the first set of questions. Okay, and it says that the male genotypes are, male's got for the eyes, big R, little r. It's got that dominant big R, so it's going to have the dominant phenotype of square eyes. Big N, little n for the nose. Got that dominant allele, so it's going to have the dominant phenotype of the triangle nose. Big T, little t for the teeth, so it's going to have that dominant phenotype of the pointy teeth. And then it has the two big H's, so it's going to have the big H trait of the one straight hair. The female, the mom here, it's got little r. She is homozygous recessive, so she has that recessive phenotype of the round eyes. Little n, again, she's homozygous recessive for the nose, so she has that recessive oval-shaped nose. Big T, little t, same as the dad. She has a big T, which is the dominant allele, so she shows that dominant trait of the pointy teeth. And then she has two little h's for the hair, so she's showing that little h trait, just the little h trait of the 2V hair. Okay. Now here at the bottom, we'd already worked a couple of those out for you, and I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more with you. So, draw our little Punnett square. Okay. And then we have, this is Dad's nose. Here she has big N and a little n. And then Mom had a little n and a little n. So we fill those in, we bring down that big N, across the little n, little n, little n, big N, little n, and then little n, and little n. Okay. So we end up with these two are heterozygous, big N, little n. Heterozygous, they would show the dominant phenotype of having that triangle nose like Dad. 50%, 2 out of 4, 50% would have that dominant phenotype. 50% would also be homozygous, recessive, little n, and would show the recessive phenotype for the nose. Okay. And then that one was done for you. And let's look at the H. Well, Dad was big H, and Mom was little h. So draw our square. Ooh, quick and square. So Dad only has big H's, so he has a big H there and a big H there. And Mom only has little H's to give, so she has little H and little H. So big H, little H, big H, little H, big H, little H, and big H, little H. So these offspring will be 100% heterozygous big H, little h. Okay? Heterozygous big H, little h. Remember, it's not dominant or recessive. Even though I say that sometimes, it's not really dominant or recessive. These are codominant. So if you have a big H, you're going to show that big H trait of having the one straight line hair. And then with having the little h also, you also have that little h trait of having the two V-shaped hair. So that would be the phenotype. This would be a codominant phenotype of the hair. Okay. So the next page, where you're doing your paper pets, it's kind of the same thing, but we're not really concerned about those parents this time because you're actually going to be flipping a coin to get the traits here. Okay. So heads. I'm going to say heads are going to be dominant. It's going to be the big letter, and tails are going to be the small letters. So for the eyes, if we flip, and we first time eyes were the R's. Okay. So flip our coin, and we get a head. So our first one will be big R, and this will be big R. Then we flip again, and we get a tail. So that would be little r. So this would be heterozygous for the eyes, big R, little r, and it has that dominant allele, so it would show that dominant trait of having the square eyes. Right there. Okay. Then we move down to the nose. So we flip first time, and we get tails, and it'd be a little N. And maybe flip again, get another tail, so it's another little N. Little N, homozygous recessive, so we would show that phenotype, that recessive phenotype of having the oval-shaped nose. Okay. And then teeth, so we flip the first time and we get a tail, so we have a little T. And then we flip again, we get head, so that's going to be a big T. Just to make it look right, just because it's the standard way of doing it, we'll put our big T in front. So we have big T, little T. Big T, little T, heterozygous for the teeth. So it would show that dominant trait of having the triangle teeth. And it looks something like that. Okay. And then so we get down here to the hair. We flip the first time, we get heads, so that's a capital H. Flip again, get tails, so that's a lowercase h. So we have the heterozygous, codominant big H and little h. So we're going to have both the big H trait of the one straight hair and the little h trait of the two in the V shape. So that would be the codominant phenotype there. And that would be pet number 1. And that's how you're going to do the others, just like that. They should not, any of them, come out just alike because it's just random flips of the coin. So you're just going to flip the coin, that'll give you a letter. There's no right or wrong as long as your phenotype matches your genotype. So if you have a dominant allele, you're going to have the dominant trait. Or if you're homozygous recessive, you're going to have that recessive trait. And don't forget to come up here and name your pets. Hope that helps.